Hello everyone, welcome back to China. Imagine if you are coming back to Malaysia from Singapore. So what are the things that you have to take note? Meaning that what are the some of the things you have to change? Or do you have to switch your mindset to better adapt to the life in Malaysia? So I've been coming back to Malaysia from Singapore for more than 1 year. And as you know, Singapore is a place where a lot of Malaysians like to go, mostly for work and some to migrate to Singapore because for better opportunities and they even have families in Singapore. So they found a new life in Singapore. So they decided to migrate to Singapore. But that's a different story. And in this video, right, it's more about what are the things that have to switch if you want to come back to Malaysia. If you've been working in Singapore for more than 3 or 4 years, right? So you have different kind of lifestyle in Singapore, including buying expensive gadgets. Because in Singapore, the currency is so strong that you don't feel the impact or you don't feel the pain if you want to buy iPhones, for example. So in this video, I will share with you some of the tips on how I switch back to the lifestyle in Malaysia after coming back for more than a year, and of course for family reasons and also other reasons as well. So everyone has their own dream and directions on where they want to go. So I decided to come back to Malaysia. Alright, so without further ado, the first thing that you have to know is your lifestyle. So you have to switch your lifestyle to better align with Malaysian lifestyle. So what are the lifestyle that I'm talking about here? So the first thing is, if you are in Singapore, right, you're used to taking buses and also MRT. Because the MRT and the buses in Singapore are just so convenient that you can just go to any corner of Singapore as you like. And in fact, it's quite affordable actually. So there are quite a lot of buses and it's quite frequent for the buses to move around in Singapore. But that's not the case in Malaysia. So if you're in KL, right, it's okay, most of the time you can take MRT, but it's not reachable to outskirts. Meaning that those areas, right, a bit outskirts or suburban areas, right, you have no choice but to drive. So one by drive is although it's not so expensive to buy a car in Malaysia compared to Singapore, it's a must for you to buy if you want to commute around more easily or conveniently and even to save time and money. So which comes to the next point, like how do you save money or save time by driving? Okay, people find it to be funny. I thought it should be more expensive, right? Yeah, you're right, it's more expensive. But I think that some areas, right, it just doesn't make sense to take public transport. And you have no choice but to take your private car. It will just take 5 minutes to reach, but if you want to take bus, right, it might take more than 2 hours. Okay, that doesn't make sense. So that's are the things that have to change. The way you commute around and also the way for you to scout for foods. Because in Singapore, right, there are quite a lot of hawker centers around the HDB areas and also some main areas. So it's very easy for you to find foods. But in Singapore, right, in Malaysia, right, so you have to drive because there are some shop lots with restaurants. Unless your house is just in front of the restaurants, which can be quite rare in certain cases, and also unless you're not going to the same restaurant every day, right? So you have a drive as well. So these are a lifestyle that have to change and you have to do like planning in advance before traveling to other places for food, for work, for everything. Alright, when it comes to work, right, that could be a second point. So you have to set an expectation right when it comes to finding jobs in Malaysia. So unless you are doing your business or you want to use the money that you save, right, the money that you pile out when you work in Singapore for a few years and you want to invest back in Malaysia, right, they want to do business, that's different thing. But if you want to, how to say, as to go back to work, mean to get a job, your salary expectation has to be aligned with Malaysian market, and that could be actually extremely painful. If you are used to 6,000 Sing dollars in Singapore, right, then suddenly, right, you are taking 6,000 ringgit, and that could be painful for you because that's the rate in Malaysia. Okay, it's almost impossible for you to get 20k ringgit, which is actually the same rate after conversion from Sing dollar to ringgit, and that doesn't make sense. So these are things that I have to take, and I would say it's give and take, and that's actually the standard of living and also the market rate for the salary in Malaysia, depending on the job and also the company and also the sectors. So brace yourself with your salary card if you come back to Malaysia. And of course, there are quite a lot of things you have to sacrifice, but salary is definitely one of them. All right, so these are the things they have to take note because a lot of people just don't take this into consideration. When they come back, they feel like, oh, maybe I can be like a manager, like manager or GM. But that's very rare. Let's say you have been working as senior engineer, right? Then you come back to Malaysia, then you want to become GM. I think nobody cares about you. So these are things or reality they have to accept. Okay, that's the first thing. First thing is about lifestyle. Second thing is the salary. Okay, the last part is a more something personal, something about your traveling plan. Okay, if you are someone that like to travel, then this third point could be for you. But let's say you like traveling, you have to stay at home, okay, for Netflix and so on. So this third point is not for you. All right, but this third point, right, is you are traveler, like frequent traveler. Okay, you are a travelholic, for example. So you have to cut down your spending, and also you have to align your those countries that want to travel. Unless you are getting a lot of money in Malaysia as well. So in Singapore, right, it's quite easy for you to save quite a lot of money, and because of strong Sing dollars, even with stronger Sing dollars, right, you can go to quite a lot of countries, including Europe and even the United States. So it's quite cheap for you if you want to try to work in Singapore and buy the flight ticket from Singapore and fly all the way to, for example, Italy. It's quite affordable actually. In fact, let's check from Emirates. If you want to fly from Singapore all the way to Milan, it only costs you less than around 900 Sing dollars for a round trip. And that's super affordable from Singaporean standards. But if you are coming back to Malaysia, right, that actually costs you more than 3,000 ringgit. So it's not so affordable actually, especially if you are working in Malaysia with the local salary. So those are things they have to sacrifice. And in the past, if you're in Singapore, right, you used to travel to Europe for twice, maybe 3 times per year. So if you come back to Malaysia, I probably have to switch to one, or maybe you have to change to other locations that can be cheaper as well. Okay, I used to travel around last time I was in Singapore, and now I came back, right? So I already slowed down, like toned down. So I'm not going to quite a lot of countries for now. Alright, so that's for our video today. And yeah, I want to share these videos. The reason is that because they're quite a lot of Malaysians, they work in Singapore, and some of them they decided to come back to Malaysia for good. Alright, so both countries have strengths or things that they're good at. So that's why it's up to you to decide whether to come back or not. And if before you want to come back to Malaysia, and these are the things you have to consider, like the cost of living, the lifestyle, the salary cut in Malaysia, and also your traveling plan. Alright, so I hope this video can help you for those who are still thinking whether you want to come back to Malaysia or you just stay put in Singapore. Okay, see you in coming videos, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this where I share personal opinions and also some former professional experience in engineering and project management. And see you in coming videos. Bye bye.